Was it? Wasn't earlier.
Call this first meeting of 2020 of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. If you all please rise and join us in an invocation from Tom Kilgore from the Connect Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let's pray together. Father God, thank you for this new year. It's amazing. It's full of all kinds of opportunity. And I pray for our amazing county commissioners that, God, you will give them clarity. They'll know exactly what needs to be done in this county to help all these great citizens. And then, Father, I pray for a focus for this year, that our commissioners will be able to focus their energies, focus their abilities to make this county even a better county. That these people before me and behind me will make an impact for good for this county. God, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the health that allows us to do so. Father, bless those who are unfortunate in our county and help them, Father, to have better days and better health. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Payne.
Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Garrett.
Present.
Okay. First of all, we have approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I am not aware of any changes we need to make to today's agenda, so I move to approve as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On to the consent agenda. We'll note that we are scheduling a public hearing for February 11th. And that is for CUP 12-003, which is a Dawson Gold minor modification.
Major modification.
Major modification.
Major modification.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Right, we'll move on to administrative and informational. We'll start with County Clerk's monthly report. Mr. Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for December of 2019 are $1,106,359.03. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $641,066.00, which is very rare, which is about 58% of the total fees and is $11,593.35 less than last December in 2018. Year to date, the clerk's office is up $230,015.23. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Clerk. I move to accept the county clerk's report for the month of December 2019.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to accept the county clerk's report. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, moving on to the county manager's report. Ms. Sunny Bryant.
So I just wanted to give a very quick update on a couple of the projects that we have that we're working on in 2020. So the first one is the EPA Brownfields Grant. So we're working on our second of 3 years in these projects. And we've actually are pretty excited to say that we've accomplished the assessment of about 6 properties already. So we're working on we're going forward with those assessments. The next thing is the second floor courthouse remodel. So we are working with our architect to finalize the design for that. So there's the unfinished space on the second floor in the courthouse. So that project will be completed in 2020. We do have an underfunded courthouse grant and a DOLA grant to help with those expenses. We're working on the Pathfinder build-out, the Pathfinder Park build-out to move the fairgrounds and all of those facilities out to Pathfinder Park. So we finalized and submitted 2 grant applications, so we're waiting to hear back on those. And then the last date is we are going to update the hazard mitigation plan, and so we'll be working with the municipalities and special districts to go through and do that assessment and update that plan. So those are a few of the big things that we've got going on over the next few months.
Okay, thank you, Sonny. All right, anyone else? Commissioner
Sure.
Bell.
I just have a couple of words this morning I would like to say about a former Fremont County Commissioner, retired many years ago, but had remained active here in Fremont County for many, many, many years. I'm sure most of you are aware of the sad news that retired County Commissioner Myron Smith, best known to the county far and wide as Smitty, passed away yesterday. And I just would like to make note that he did more good in his life here in Fremont County than most of us can ever hope to do. And we will miss him, and we send our love and our prayers to his entire family. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay,
Okay,
anything else?
no?
Okay, move on to citizens who wish to address commissioners on something not on the agenda. Don't have any at the current time. And seeing none, we will move on to old business. We have one order of old business. What it is approval of the minutes from December 24th, 2019. As I discussed with Mr. Clerk, we would like to have more summary minutes rather than action minutes. Therefore, we're not approving those until we get a summary minute.
Okay.
So I would just make a note that we were notified by the clerk's office a couple of months ago that they were looking, or not looking at, but they were preparing to do a different kind of minutes for us that I believe are known as action minutes. And I had taken a look at them over the last couple of months and thought, well, they're pretty sparse. There's not a lot of information there, but I think they're fine. So we've been approving those. But our last meeting, we actually had a topic that I thought needed much more discussion in the minutes. So we started having a larger conversation, and I think the 3 commissioners all decided we would prefer our minutes to reflect more information on what actually happens at a meeting, and to include maybe some of the reason why we reached the conclusions that we reached, rather than to just have a formal vote. And so for those reasons, we have asked Mr. Grantham to have those minutes redone for us, and I believe that those will be done by our next meeting. So with that explanation, Mr. Chair, I move to table the approval of minutes of December 24th, 2019 to our next meeting, which is January 28th of 2020.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to table the minutes for December 24th, 2019 to the next meeting. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, on to new business. First order of business is something that we do every year at the first meeting of the year, which is this one, and that is organization of the Board of County Commissioners. So first of all, I would like to make a motion. We move that we appoint Commissioner Bell chairman for the year 2020.
And a hearty second.
I didn't jump right in there for that.
It has been moved and seconded to appoint Commissioner Bell chairman for the Fremont County Commissioners 2020. Any further discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Along with that, Mr. Chair, during part of the reorganization, I would move to appoint Commissioner McFall as the Fremont County Commissioners Chairman Pro Tem.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to appoint Commissioner McFall, Fremont County Chair Pro Tem. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the final part of new business number 1 is we have a tradition here in Fremont County that for some reason we kind of feel the need to thank our outgoing chairman for all of the hard, incredible work that has been accomplished over the last year. So we've had just some really interesting things over the past year that we've had to deal with, and I think Commissioner McFall has dwelt with them actually very, very well. He's just now starting his 4th year, So when he came in, he had 2 years under his belt. He was still a relatively new Fremont County Commissioner, but he's done an excellent job. So we have a plaque that we would like to present to him this morning, just to say thank you for a job well done.
Well, thank you.
All right. Hey, they even spelled your name right.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Who do you look at? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now we'll reorganize the spots.
Yes.
She hits me in the middle, so I'm confused.
You guys might fall out of your chairs.
And now we'll see if I actually remember how to run a meeting. I haven't done this for a few years, so please bear with me. Let me throw that out there.
It's like riding a bike.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. So we have the opportunity this morning to recognize someone who fortunately is with us here in our audience today for the job that he has performed for Fremont County for a couple of decades. So Mr. Michael Cox used to be the building official here in Fremont County, and he has taken the opportunity to retire from active duty this year. So Mike is with us this morning. His wife Cindy is with us this morning. I see a lot of members of your family here, and I'm so happy to see you all here. So Mike, we would like to ask you to come forward while we read this resolution for you. And any family members that you would like to come stand up with you this morning, we would love to have you here. So if I can blow this up just a little bit, I'll read it. Okay, so I'm going to read this proclamation or this resolution for all. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado congratulates Mr. Michael Cox on his retirement as Fremont County building official. And whereas Michael Cox has been a loyal and valued employee of Fremont County from February 16th of 1999 until January 23rd of 2020, earning much respect and admiration. I'm going to get emotional, Mike. So, Cindy, I'm not going to be able to look at you. I can see the same thing happening over here. So, earning much respect and admiration for his extraordinary commitment to the protection of lives and the safety of citizens of Fremont County through interpretation and enforcement of building codes, building permitting, and inspection services, as well as general guidance to contractors and citizens throughout unincorporated Fremont County. And whereas Michael Cox provided Fremont County and its citizens with his expertise, dedication, and skills relating to building construction and building codes for nearly 21 years. And whereas Michael Cox's accomplishments are many and include the following: performing numerous building inspections throughout the county, ensuring Fremont County adopts and remains in compliance with local and national building codes and ordinances, serving as Fremont County floodplain administrator to ensure compliance with federal floodplain regulations to prevent, mitigate, and manage hazardous flood conditions, providing guidance and service to Fremont County Board of Appeals, creating and implementing the first ever Fremont County building contractor licensing program, working cooperatively with state and local jurisdictions to ensure consistency in the interpretation and enforcement of building codes for the benefit of citizens, implementing the Fremont County Manufactured Home Inspection Program, saving time and expense for homeowners, working tirelessly and creatively on code violation situations to bring contractors and property owners into compliance with life safety and other requirements, providing leadership and knowledge through demonstrations of good character, humor, knowledge, and skills to those who are subordinate and to coworkers, providing valuable leadership of the Fremont County Building Department. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County, Colorado, publicly recognizes and expresses its deep appreciation and that of the citizens of Fremont County to Michael Cox for his decades of devoted service to Fremont County and its citizens. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be read into the record of the Board of County Commissioners as a tribute to Michael Cox's service, and that the official seal of Fremont County shall be affixed thereto and delivered to him, done this 14th day of January, 2020 at Canyon City, Colorado. Mike, I can't begin to thank you for all the work that you have done, the service you have provided. You trained your people so well. They are moving on into the future without a single hiccup in your absence. We all miss you, but you've done an amazing job, and I just would like to say thank you.
Thank you.
I think we should. Madam Chair, with that, I move to accept the resolution for Mike Cox.
Approve.
Approve the resolution for Mike Cox for his years of service, and thank you very much, sir.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second on the floor to approve the service resolution recognizing Michael Cox, retiring building official for Fremont County. Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I don't know why
Yeah.
we started with that. Okay.
All right. Okay, now to the less emotional parts of today's agenda. I said emotional, not important. Can you guess who's next on the
Yeah.
agenda? So we do have several housekeeping items that we need to take care of today, as we always do for the first meeting of every year. First up is the appointment of a county attorney.
That, Madam Chair, I move that we appoint Brenda Jackson, County Attorney.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to appoint Brenda Jackson as our Fremont County Attorney for the year 2020. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is resolution number 1, designating and approving official depositories for Fremont County for 2020.
So this is something, again, that we have to do every year, and I believe the treasurer has okayed these depositories, correct, Brenda?
Yes, he has.
And they are as follows: Sunflower Bank of Canyon City, Colorado Surplus Asset Fund Trust, Colo Trust, Bank of the San Juans, Glacier Bank. And I move that these entities, approve these entities for depository for Fremont County for 2020.
That-
Resolution 1.
Resolution number one.
Thank you.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 1, designating and approving the official depositories for Fremont County for 2020 as listed for Sunflower Bank of Canyon City, Colorado Surplus Asset Fund Trust, Colo Trust, and Bank of the San Juans, Glacier Bank. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have resolution number 2, which is going to designate a schedule for regular meetings for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. We typically meet here on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month at 9:30 in the morning. And I believe that's what we're planning on doing.
With that,
this year as
Madam
well.
Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2 designating the regular meetings for Fremont County Board of Commissioners.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2, designating the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month at 9:30 a.m. as the regular meetings for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to designating an official newspaper for Fremont County. This will be resolution number 3. Pulling it up here. Go ahead.
So we do have 3 newspapers in the county. We have the Canyon City Daily Record, we have the Florence Citizen, and we have Fremont County Crusader. The Florence Citizen and the Fremont Crusader are weekly publications. The Daily Record is a daily publication. And because of sometimes we have unexpected events or short notices that we need to get in, a daily paper works better for us. So I move to designate official newspaper of Fremont County to the Daily Record.
And is that to approve resolution number 3?
Resolution number 3, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 3, designating the Canyon City Daily Record as the official newspaper for Fremont County. What this means is that all of our public notices will be published in the Daily Record, for those of you who may be questioning. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, up next, new business, resolution number 4, designating official posting place for notice of public meetings for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution number 4 designating the official posting places for public meetings for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. Those would be the bulletin board in the hallway outside the offices of the Board of County Commissioners in the Fremont County Administration Building, the bulletin board located on the main south entrance of the Fremont County Administration Building, and the website of the Fremont County, Colorado, which is fremontco.com.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 4, designating the official posting places, as just explained, for public meetings of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. I would just make a note that over the last few years, we have made a very concerted effort to try to be more forthcoming, to be open, and to allow our citizens to know what Fremont County is out and about doing. So we have started not only already publishing all of this information on our website, we also have some Facebook pages out there, and we just try very hard to keep our citizens informed. So I think continuing that practice is a really, really good idea. So further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we're going to turn to Tammy Childs, our Human Resources Manager. She's shaking her head at me. We have before us resolution number 5 to adopt the 2020 Fremont County Compensation Schedule for Fremont County employees. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
So this resolution is just to adopt, we changed our pay schedule from a 5-step system to a 14-step system effective this month. So this resolution is just officially adopting that pay schedule for the county.
All right. Any questions? I would just point out this is something that's taken an awful lot of time and a lot of work, a lot of effort by not only Tammy, but some of the others that we have working in administration here in Fremont County. It went out to all of our supervisors, managers, other elected officials. We've taken a lot of input, and this is the plan. So I think we're all really pleased with it. And I would just like to note, thank you so much for all the work that you've done on this.
Yeah, and it has been noticed by the employees already, and we've already gotten lots of thanks for it. So it's a good move on the county's part as far as our compensation for our employees go, which is very important. With that, Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution number 5, adopting the 2020 Fremont County Compensation Schedule for our Fremont County employees.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 5, adopting the 2020 Fremont County Compensation Schedule for all Fremont County employees. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, one more item of new business to come before us today. We have resolution number 6, amending the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual. This is Chapter 13, Pay and Compensation Plan. And once again, we turn to Tammy Childs.
And so this one just goes in line with adopting the pay schedule. It's to get rid of all the longevity wording within that chapter and to get rid of service adjustments because those also went away, and we're just going to progress across the steps in the new formulated way.
But in getting rid of the long-term pay, we have not actually taken money away from anyone. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It was built into the new pay schedule for
All right,
everybody.
perfect. Thank you. Further questions? Discussion? All right, motion?
With that, Madam Chair, I move to approve Resolution Number 6, amending the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 13, Pay and Compensation Plan.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution Number 6, which is the March 2019 edition of the Fremont County Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 13, Pay and Compensation Plan. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Again, thank you, Tammy. That's
Thanks,
taken an
Tammy.
awful lot of work over the last year, and we appreciate everything you've done. We do have 4 public hearings scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. It is now 5 till 10. We will take a 5-minute recess and come back in at that time.
So we do have the presentation from the company that's looking at vehicles. I think it's this Thursday. He's going to bring us the quote. That's what we do. That's awesome. See what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And not as long.
Chair Queen, Chair Emperor.
Oh, wait. Slow down, guys.
Can I be chair?
Let me see if Sean can
I didn't realize Chair Queen.
Because they couldn't get the instrument all the way in.
So it's the only PowerPoint file on it, and then this is the thing for the clicker. Thank you. Thank you.
So this was left over from Ed here, and he's got the notes with the public hearing and open the public hearing first, and then the staff report for all of those different things. The way we've been doing it is presenting, getting staff reports and then which is actually fine. We do the staff report first before we. Otherwise you can't tell what they're commenting on. Okay. So, but, no, my question is, when do you actually open the public hearing? At the before applicant and staff, or because we've been doing. No, before. I would do it, yeah, do it all, yeah.
That way it's all a public hearing.
Recall, you never sat on
Makes
this.
sense to me.
It's all on the
Okay.
record as part of the public hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
There. And over there. And then here. Because I was over there first. And then Tim was here. She was here.
But you notice, that's the point.
Every 6 years or so, you'll be back to the church you started out in.
Which I guess at my age is pretty good.
This is not any higher.
Take it when you can get it.
Sometimes.
Unless you come in one day and take over that side.
When I was serving on the planning and zoning board for the city, they always moved us.
Do they move around?
Because when we lose somebody, they just rotate.
Right.
I'm like, wow. All 4 years, I was on all sides. Sometimes I'd just be a council person because they'd forget to put on the commissioner tag.
Alright, so we got this.
Trees are shrubs, doesn't it?
pallets, but other than that.
Or used tires?
Is that a problem? Now it's my turn to
Get the hammer out.
fidget a little
With a
bit.
hammer?
Yes, got a fidget hammer. Turn into a fidget spinner. All right, I call back to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. I just indicated we do have 4 public hearings scheduled today. I would like to make note, if anyone in the audience is planning on speaking at one of these public hearings, I would like to invite you to fill out one of the forms over by the door, on the table right there,
Or on the desk?
or on the podium, and bring it forward to our county clerk, and you will be called in order. All right, first up, we have a request for a commercial development plan for Skyline Steel. This is to allow for storage and sale of steel culverts, assembly of joints and elbows for culverts, and incidental sales of antiques for property located at the intersection of 4th Street and Colorado State Highway 115 in Penrose, Colorado. So I will open this public hearing and ask first for a presentation by Representative Matt Koch. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Morning, Matthew.
So the property is located at the northeast corner of 4th Street and Highway 115 in Penrose. A lot of you are familiar with the property. It used to have a bunch of horses on it. They had stalls and things there. Right now the property is vacant. They are planning to build a 42 by 70 metal structure on the property that will house their assembly area as well as their offices and restrooms. All utilities are adjacent or are on the property. It is serviced by Penrose Water. It will be a septic system, and the other utilities are adjacent on 4th Street. Other than that, if you have any questions.
Any questions at this time?
No.
No.
All right, we will turn to Planning and Zoning Director Sean Garrett for a staff report.
Okay, so the department has reviewed the application and found it to be complete and a true representation of the request as stated herein. The department finds that all requirements for the Fremont County zoning resolution will be satisfied by this application. We do have 4 contingency items. Those are submittal of soil testing and design for the OWTS. There's a few minor corrections to the site plan, approval of the drainage plan, and submittal of a quitclaim deed to the county with a deed restriction addressing maintenance of the drainage facilities. There's 2 waiver requests. One is the hard surfacing for the parking area and the landscaping of the parking area. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of both those waiver requests. And 1 condition, which would be buffering installed along the east property line, beginning from the southeast corner, northerly 300 feet.
So the buffering could be trees, shrubs, fencing?
So they're proposing putting chain link fence up, and so they could put the tarping material or the slats in there to just
Okay.
Slats, the
meet that
And
requirement.
you're good with that? Okay.
So I have a question on the hard surface parking area. Does the handicap spot going to be hard surface?
The handicap spot will be hard surfaced.
And that's the sole one, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
One.
Okay. I saw a lot of discussion from the Planning Commission about that, and I thought that was the answer, but I just wanted to double check and make certain.
Okay.
Also, Sean, I noted from our Fremont County Environmental Health Officer, Amy Jameson, that the application does not specify a company that will be used for refuse.
And so it's going to be private service and probably one of the local companies.
It'd be one of the local dumpster removal people.
Okay, so the department is satisfied with that requirement?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And I will note that late yesterday we did receive comments from CDOT regarding this application. They were notified October 17th, and so we received them January 13th. And you guys have all of those comments.
Okay, so we just note them for the record. Okay.
All right, any other questions for
Duly
Sean
noted.
or the applicant at this time?
Yep.
No.
Okay, we will now turn to public comment. I do have a sheet for Eric Kellogg. Is this for this hearing or is it for this one? Okay, if you would come on up, Mr. Kellogg.
Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
represent James Erickson. He owns the property next door. And
Next door to the
to the
east?
Yep.
Okay.
And currently, there's a dispute between the property line on the southeast corner.
Could you pull the microphone up just a little to make it easier to hear you?
We're in
Thank
the,
you.
the preliminary stages of litigation on an adverse possession dispute with that southeast corner. So we would ask that this gets tabled until we get that taken care of. And also a second suit regarding damage to our property that he did with his skid loader and some other stuff. But two separate suits that we need to get taken care of before moving forward, hopefully.
Okay,
That's
noted.
it.
Thank you.
Are you aware of this, Sean?
This is the first I've heard of this.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have anyone else in the public that would like to speak? Okay, I would like to ask Mr. Koch if you would like to reflect, if you have anything to say following that comment.
So there was an old fence line along the east line that was removed by a previous owner. And so that is the point of contention with the neighbor. The attorneys are dealing with it. Who knows how long it'll take to get settled. But right now, that area wouldn't impact the construction or development of any of our areas. Would not. The building sits far enough away that whatever happens there, it won't mess with any of our setback issues or anything of that nature. So.
Matt, how far away is that building from that, either that old fence or even the regular line, do you know?
We're showing it 48 feet.
48 feet.
And setback is what, 25?
On the side, I believe it's 15, 10 or 15 in that area.
Just 10 or 15? So there's plenty of wiggle
There's plenty of
room
room there.
Okay. Any further questions for Matt?
So will that line be any kind of problems with the septic field that's proposed here on this map?
We'll make sure that we move that over. If that's not taken care of at the time in installation, we'll make sure that that all fits in there.
Okay.
No, that's all I've got for now.
Commissioner Payne, anything else?
Would this be a condition that we put on that they get this taken care of?
I would turn to our county attorney for an answer to that question.
If it's not going to interfere with the proposed development, they can resolve that in their own time.
Their own time, okay,
Okay.
all right.
Anything else? Anything else? Matt, anything else?
Nope, that's
Sean?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to close this public hearing and ask my fellow commissioners for your wishes.
Hi, Madam Chair. I move to approve this condition, the CDP 19-002 for Skyline Steel. This is for their commercial development plan. I want to note that there was approval from the Planning Commission on this with the 4 contingency items that was submitted by Sean, the 2 waiver requests, and the 1 condition.
Could you spell out those contingency
I will
waiver
spell-
items?
I will spill those out. Number 1, the submittal of soil testing designed for the OWTS. Number 2 is the minor corrections to the site plan. Number 3, approval of the drainage plan. And number 4, submittal of the quitclaim deed to the county with deed restriction addressing the maintenance of drainage facilities, easements, right-of-ways, and related structures and/or facilities prior to recording of the commercial development plan. The 2 waiver requests, hard surfacing for parking area, and number 2, landscaping of the parking area. The 1 condition, buffering installed along the east property line beginning from the southeast corner northerly 300 feet per Planning Commission recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
Second.
All right, we do have a motion and second on the floor to approve Commercial Development Plan 19-002 for Skyline Steel to allow for storage and sales of steel culverts, assembly of joints and elbows for culverts, and incidental sales at the property located at the intersection of 4th Street and Colorado Highway 115. That motion does include the 4 contingency items, 2 waiver requests, and the 1 condition as spelled out by Commissioner Payne. Further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to point out that this condition is that fence along the east line, which he talked about, so that's going to have to wait till that dispute is taken care of. So that condition won't go in there till then, and then it'll go accordingly to the boundary, I would assume. And hopefully that'll get straightened out quick. That's all I got.
Okay, anything else?
Yep.
Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Matt, and
Okay.
good luck to you guys.
Good luck, guys.
We will need a resolution number for that approval as well.
We need resolution number, will be resolution number 7. All right, our next public hearing is for an amendment to the Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 5.10, and amendment to the Fremont County Subdivision Regulations, Section 23, regarding drainage plan requirements. So we will open this public hearing, and I will turn to Director Garrett for an explanation.
Okay, so with one of the projects, Skyline Steel, we got some information from the engineering firm on that, Mr. Alex Ewers. We started this, and then Don kind of wrote up the changes, and so this is just updating the changes to reflect how the new calculations are completed, things of that nature.
All right, commissioners, questions, discussion?
I don't. I read through everything, and from what I can tell, it's just kind of clearing things up,
Yeah.
making things easier to understand. A little bit of verbiage has changed, but it didn't really change the meaning of stuff. It's kind of just cleaning things up for the most part.
Making it easier to read and to understand.
Yes, and so this would be a change to both the subdivision regulations and the zoning resolution.
Okay. All right. Okay, I would now turn to those sitting in our audience and ask if we have any questions or comments from the public. All right, seeing none, we'll close this public hearing and ask my fellow commissioners for a motion.
So, Madam Chair, I move to approve the amendments to the Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 5-.10, and amendment to the Fremont County Subdivision Regulations, XX111.
It's 23.
23, regarding drainage plans requirements. And that would be, you need a resolution for that?
Yes, I'll need two resolution
number
numbers.
8
And 9.
and 9. Thank you.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolutions number 8 and 9, amendments to the Fremont County Zoning Resolution, Section 5.10, and the amendment to the Fremont County Subdivision Regulations, Section 23, both regarding drainage plan requirements. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, up next, optional premises cultivation license 14-011 for Pure Medical LLC, a modification of premises. Requesting the approval and issuance of a modification of this license in areas in Penrose. I think we have with us this morning, James?
Yes.
James, good morning. I thought
Good
that
morning.
was we have two names, but I thought you were
Yeah.
James. So good morning, James. All right, so I will open this public hearing and ask James to go ahead and explain what we have before us.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Bell on her promotion up there to chairman. And
I'm not sure of the promotion part.
it's always good
But
to be a
thank you
chairman,
regardless.
you know. And thank Commissioner McFall for his service. It is a delight and pleasure to work with all the offices in this building. Everybody here always conducts themselves with a very good manner.
Thank you.
For this, I'm going to turn over the presentation to Carly. She's worked very hard on putting all this information together for you guys and trying to provide you with as much transparency as we can.
All right,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you. Good morning, Carly.
Good morning.
Could you identify
Congratulations.
yourself, please?
I'm sorry? Oh, my name is Carly Van Arnhem, manager of Pure Medical.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we submitted an application, and I brought this so she wouldn't have to click through my slides. Oh, look, there we go. So first, this is just an aerial view of the property from Google, fairly accurate. The green right here, that is the property line. Whoops. Go back. What did you do? Okay, well, here's another view. So this is the ILC. The property line is the darker rim outside, The existing limited access area is this right here. What our application... I don't know what I'm doing.
It's automatically changing, I think.
You gotta talk real fast then.
I gotta go. This is gonna be a quick hearing, you guys.
We just move these right along.
Okay. So you can see where the existing limited access area is. Okay.
Sorry, which one do you want?
This one is perfect. Thank you. The dark black line is where we're asking to move the fence line. This right here is the building that's under construction. This was the one that was approved last year.
Sorry, I don't know how to change it.
I don't know either. It wasn't doing that earlier. Is it paused? Perfect.
Okay.
This is where the building currently is being built. We should hopefully be able to apply for the building permit for that this week. The septic system's been put in and approved, and so construction is moving along with that building. So the black line is where we're intending to move the fence line. It is 50 to 60 feet off all the property lines where it comes close to the property line. It's actually about 60 feet off that back line just because there's a little bit of a, it doesn't show it very well on here, but there's a little bit of a kind of a dip where it goes down and then keeps going. So we're about 60 feet off the back of the property line to make sure we're not encroaching on anybody's property back there. We're 60 feet from the road and then 50 feet to either side. Okay, we can click over a few. I really did try to be prepared.
And I can't see where it shows it's supposed to do that, so I'll just try to...
Well, I would apologize to you, Carly, for losing control, but I'm not sure we ever had it. So,
So the new limited access area would incorporate those areas in the highlighted section. I do believe it's important to note that down there in the lower corner right here, this is existing drainage and native swale. So that would not be any additional plant sites or cultivation sites. That has to stay native grass, and there's a big drainage swale that goes through. So we're going to incorporate it into the licensed premise mainly to make a nice, contiguous, even fence line so it's not in multiple sections. But that would not include any new cultivation area. So we are expanding cultivation area. We're expanding the entire limited access area by roughly 90,000 square feet. 30,000 of it is drainage, so about 60,000 would be additional limited access area that could be used for storage, cultivation, compost pile, equipment storage, things of that nature. Now, it sounds like a big increase, but is also what we'd be doing is relocating current plant sites that are subpar within our current limited access area. We have some plant sites that are really close to the building, that are right underneath a tree, that just are not ideal cultivation sites. So we want to remove those from the current limited access area and put them out in some of these other areas. We would also be moving our waste and compost pile up closer to these buildings. That would just help with the ease of harvest time, since they're being harvested inside the buildings. All the waste is going right outside here. All that has to be within the limited access area per code. So it would just give us additional area up around the buildings to create more efficient harvesting processes. It also gives us additional space to clean our equipment, our trim machines, things of that nature. So while we would be increasing plant sites, this entire expansion is not a cultivation increase completely. There's just some modification of the current area that would be happening. If we want to keep going a couple, I just showed it in a couple different ways. So basically what we'd be doing is increasing 12% of the parcel to 27% of the parcel would now become limited access area. Again, that doesn't mean grow area, just activities that have to occur on the limited access, on the licensed premise. Makes 2 out of the 7 acres basically part of the limited access area. And like I said, we'd be increasing our grow area by about 60,000 square feet, and the drainage does account for 30,000 square feet. We can go to the next one. Perfect. So the reason we're asking for it, there's kind of a few reasons. First and foremost, the Marijuana Enforcement Division completely revamped the vertical integration of medical marijuana. Essentially, they took vertical integration away. Vertical integration was where our grow was tied to our centers, and your plant count was based on how many patients your centers had registered. So they've done away with that, and now they've issued standardized plant tiers. We happen to be in the highest plant tier, so this expansion would allow us we're already allowed to grow this amount of plants. It would just allow us ample space to do so, and to do so more efficiently, so we don't have plants crammed up against buildings and right up against the fence, and things of that nature. Again, it would give us more efficient use of our property. We can relocate subpar plant sites and waste piles, and we have more room within the limited access area to take care of our equipment, store our equipment, things of that nature. Next one. Production efficiencies. So part of what we do every year is we add new strains of cannabis. When you're trying out a new strain, that basically means you've never grown it before, you don't know what it's going to do, you don't know how it's going to turn out. So this will allow us kind of R&D rows for those new strains, instead of taking away from the strains that we know grow well and the ones that we have to grow to keep our production going for our stores. It'll give us a few more rows to kind of try out new strains without compromising or sacrificing plant count over where we need it for our tried and true core strains, if that makes sense. Just allows us to play, offer more variety to our patients, try out different strains of cannabis without impacting production that we know we need for our current demand in our stores. And it will also help us with the chance of success. Everybody knows farming here is pretty unpredictable, pretty difficult with our climate. We have, over the past few years, we experience a 10% loss every year. So this will allow a little bit more of a buffer. We know where plants are going to die due to pests, due to rodents, due to wind, things like that. So being able to add these additional plant sites will help us kind of buffer against that 10% predictable loss that we just get from the elements.
It should be working now. I think it's with your laser. Anytime you push the laser, I think it was advanced.
Oh, it's supposed to be this button. Oh, there we go. Maybe I'm just not pushing it hard enough. So some of the perceived concerns that we've seen in the past with any sort of expansion or modification of premise, of course, is odor. To our knowledge, we have not received any odor concerns for the past few growing seasons. To my knowledge, I haven't received any public feedback or emails about this specific modification either. Nothing had been forwarded to me. Unsightliness, we are expanding kind of more towards the back of the property and a little bit to the sides. It will have the chain link fence with the slats to obstruct the view, so it's not going to be easily viewed by the public. And our neighbors to either side of us that we're kind of getting closer to have expressed no concern and even support of the project. I've also heard in the past that, it's just too much. Again, we're only using approximately 27% of the entire 7.3 acre parcel for this particular limited access area. So being too much is kind of opinion. It's not really substantiated by any fact. Let's see. Maybe? There we go. Okay, and then a couple of the other things. As everybody knows, hemp has been introduced into Penrose, or into Fremont County recently. 10-acre parcels of hemp are going up left and right with no fences, no regulations, no requirements. This is just a little bit of information. Hemp and marijuana are the same thing. They're both genus Cannabis sativa. The only differentiating factor between hemp and cannabis is the legal or the potency, the fact that hemp is defined as less than 3% THC, cannabis is defined as over 3% THC. So as far as the way it grows, the way it smells, what it looks like, they're the same plant, they're in the same family. So if we can have 10-acre parcels of hemp, I feel like a 2-acre parcel of cannabis, it's apples to apples at that point. They grow the same, they look the same. Again, the only difference is potency. So this is a hemp field over on the left. That's our grow over there down on the right. And when they're in for full flower, again, very similar. You've got the hemp field up there in the corner, and that's an actual picture of our farm from just this last year. So they both come from the same family, and again, if 10 acres of hemp doesn't bother the community, I would hope that a 2-acre farm of our nature wouldn't bother the community. So the expansion is necessary, basically for sustainability, so we can adapt to the new regulations that the Marijuana Enforcement Division has put into place. Our zoning and our land use is in line with the zoning for the property. And as with all projects we do, we'll use local contractors. We always try to keep the community in mind. We've already been talking to the neighbors, the ones across the street, the ones to either side of us. They're aware of the project, and nobody seems to have any negative things to say about it. So with that, I will ask if you have any questions. There's one of our pesticide
See your
control.
mascot?
Yes.
I do have a quick question for you.
Sure.
You talked a little bit about your limited access space and how, although there would be a lot more space with this expansion, you're going to be moving some plants, kind of giving them more space to breathe. You didn't actually say the words, but I'm curious to know if you're looking at increasing your plant count.
Yes. Well, we would be increasing the number of plants that we can cultivate. Our plant count is the same as dictated by the Marijuana Enforcement Division. Basically, we're legally allowed to grow 3,000 plants. How we choose to do that is up to us. The Marijuana Enforcement Division doesn't specify how. It just has to take place within the limited access area. Right now, we have plant sites for
Right around
1,500. So this would add about 1,000 plant sites. So we'd be growing around 2,500 plants. Again, we can grow the 3,000 regardless of this expansion or not. It just physically wouldn't be, they'd be crammed in there. If we wanted to adopt a sea green style where we just had a big mass field of them and grew them shorter, we could accomplish it. It's just this would make it much more feasible for us to meet that plant count that we have for the state.
Okay, thank you. Anything further for the applicant at this time?
Yeah, on that north side, outside that building, you talked about waste. What do you do with the waste then?
So the waste, basically when we harvest, we take the plant, you cut it down at the stem, at the base, and then we strip it. So we have the big long stalks that are unusable. Basically, during the harvest, since we're trying to get everything down as quickly as we can, we throw it all into a big pile, and then after all the plants are cut down, we use a wood chipper, and we wood chip it all up. The Marijuana Enforcement Division has a rule: we have to make everything, we have to render it unusable and unrecognizable. So we grind it with other tree trimmings, leaves, things like that, and you render it unusable and unrecognizable, and then it gets deposited into the dumpster and dumped, or we can compost it, or we can bury it, any number of various things.
Okay.
But right now they're hauling all of those stems quite a ways during the harvest process. This would allow it to be basically out the door, so they can just chuck the stems and keep moving, increase efficiency.
Oh, okay.
Just to give you guys an idea too, our waste pile right now generates around 40 cubic yards. That's usually what I bring in, is a 40-yard dumpster, and then we mix everything prior to it leaving the facility.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anything further?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you. We will now
Yes.
turn to a staff report from Director Garrett.
Okay, so the department has reviewed the application. All minimum required submittals have been received by the department. There is one contingency item, which would be approval from MAD for the expansion. And the department has not received any complaints on odor, and there has been no violations on the property.
All right, thank you, Sean. Any questions for Sean?
No.
So the state of Colorado has not, they haven't done the approval for the proposed modification yet?
We have to get local.
They're waiting on us?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the contingency. Okay.
Yes.
That was one of those that part of the time they were doing it and they didn't know what we were doing and we weren't doing it, and now it's back and forth, so now they're just waiting on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a chicken and the egg scenario.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing, so I will ask if there's anyone in our audience this morning that would like to get up and speak on this topic. All right, seeing none, we will close today's public hearing. Commissioners, do you have further questions, comments?
Nope. With that, Madam Chair, I move to approve the optional premise cultivation license, the OPC 14-011, Pure Medical LLC, doing business as Pure Medical, for the issuance of the modification of the optional premise cultivation license, with the one contingency item for the State of Colorado Department of Revenue Marijuana Enforcement Division approval of the proposed modification.
That's a mouthful.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve the modification of premises for OPC 14-001 for Pure Medical, including the one contingency item as stated. Further discussion?
Carly, would you fill out one of those slips for us, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate
All right,
it.
if there's nothing else, roll call.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks so much, and continued good luck with your business out there. All right, we have our fourth and final public hearing of the day. This is a home preservation and buyout program public hearing for the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments, which intends to apply for community development block grant funds through the Colorado Division of Housing for the home preservation and buyout program. I would like to note this is not an action item for the county, but a public hearing is required by the state program. We have with us this morning Autumn Deaver, who is with Housing and Rehabilitation at COG. Good morning, Autumn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. So I am applying with the Colorado Division of Housing for this. It is Community Development Block Grant Funds, which is why the requirement for the public hearing. This is a one-time individual project. We run a housing rehabilitation program, and as what we do is we help homeowners make repairs to their home and offer them a loan to make those repairs. There are instances where folks can't make payments on items. We normally take a second. In this instance, we have a homeowner who has not been paying on the first, and the first lien holder is foreclosing on the home, and to protect our interest in it, we want to buy out the first and roll it over into, we're basically refinancing this loan so that we're protecting our interest. The state, this is the first time the state has allowed us to apply for something like this. And once we buy that out, we want to basically refinance it, like I said, and excuse me, make it more affordable for the homeowner. We work in affordable housing. We don't want to make anybody homeless, so we're just trying to make this be a good thing for us and a good thing for this homeowner.
Right.
So we're asking for $35,100 to pay for buying out the first and the fees associated with that.
Not asking for that from the county.
No.
Just clarify.
It is not from the county. It actually is, it's a revolving loan fund. We actually have these funds in our fund, and we're asking the state permission to use those funds in this instance.
Okay, thank you.
Would you anticipate that this would be used for other properties as well in the future?
Not this specific one, because this is, we had to work really quickly, so it's just for this one home. But the state has requested that I put in an additional application to make this a long-term program. So you will have to see me again probably for this.
Yeah, this was discussed at length also at the Council of Governments Board meeting, and essentially we have roughly $16,000, $17,000 in the second on this property, I believe. And in order to not lose that, a good financial decision is to buy the first, where you don't lose the second, you still own the house, where if they default again, we can always sell the house, do whatever, so it's not like we're gonna lose that money, so it's a pretty sound financial decision.
And I did get a real estate market analysis on this house. So altogether, we would probably have, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head now. We would have about $50,000 in this house, and the real estate market says that this house is valued at $148,000.
Okay.
So it's a good investment.
All right. Thanks, Autumn. Being a public hearing, I would like to ask if we have anyone from the public that would like to get up and speak. All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. That is a no action item for the Board of Commissioners, and with there being no further business to come before this board, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Why did we not say that before we start the meeting?
I just thought of that.
I assumed that you